All right. Hello, everybody. When you're seeing this, it will be Thursday. I'm recording this on the 27th. So I'm going to talk about a couple things before I talk about the outline itself. One, I'm sorry I can't be there. I had something really important come up, and I have to take the morning off to go attend to it. Two, if you can hear sound in the background, this is on the second snow day, and they are excavating all the snow out of my apartment parking lot. So I'm sorry if you can hear that background noise. Thirdly, about your green packet, I was supposed to check them in class today. That was my original plan. Here's what I would like you to do now that I can't be there to check it in person. Today, you're probably going to be using your green packet to complete the outline. Before you leave class, if you think that it is safe enough, like you're in a good place with your outline, you could leave it behind, I would like you to turn it into the tray. That way, I can look through it, I can go over some stuff, I can give you some feedback, and by the time I see you on Monday, I can have that back to you. If you absolutely cannot part with it over the weekend, I would like you to take pictures of it, clear pictures, okay? And I'd like you to submit it to that social issues research notes, the online submission. And I will grade it online. The reason I'm stressing clear pictures is because I'm going to have to read it online and give you feedback that way, because I don't want to kind of push back that feedback as any further than I have to. So if you do end up taking that second option, like you can't part with your green packet, you need it for your research, please take very clear pictures of it for me, and then please submit them there. I will mess with the deadline schedule on it, so it'll still allow you to submit it. Okay, let's talk about the outline. So I'm going to go through this. If you find that you have additional questions, I would like you to Canvas inbox me with them, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Likely I'll answer them when I come back to school halfway through the day. So the outline, it says, note this is a template for your social issue topic on outline. It does not need to be written in complete sentences. This is just pre-writing that's going to organize what your essay is going to contain. If you find that you can't actually back up the claims you're making, you may need to do additional research that is specific to those claims that you need to back. You're going to be submitting this to Canvas. It's worth 10 points formative. There are two ways that you can kind of go about doing your outline, but I'm going to go through kind of the basics of it. So you need a title. It's either going to be definitions, statistics, or programs. Really easy. And your introduction, please limit how many research facts and citations you have. One statistic or one fact as a hook to grab the reader's attention, okay. Maybe one or two, but if you exceed that, you really need to be careful. A lot of our information should be in the body paragraphs and not in anything else. It says this paragraph will give an overview of your specific role that pertains to your social issue. Is there a hook? Maybe you just have an overview of your social issue. So that's part A. Part B, do you need any background information? A and B are combined, please note this. So the hook and the background info, they're only about 2 to 3 sentences long. So you need to be pretty snappy with whatever you're saying, because chances are you're just going to be previewing the material and then going more in depth with it, like when you go to your body paragraphs. Finally, C, this is your claim/thesis. What are you proving in the rest of your individual section? Please refer to the essay structure document. I think I gave more guided notes for your role based on whoever you are for your thesis statement. And I kind of helped you shape what I'm looking for in that. For the first main paragraph, each role will look a little differently. You guys have that essay structure, so you know what I'm talking about there. We've already, had I been here, we would have talked a little more in depth about those structures. However, school was canceled, and then now I have to be gone. So this is just your intro, okay? Your intro is very, very straightforward. It doesn't give a lot away because your body paragraphs are what's going to contain the most. So here is kind of your body paragraph stuff. Yes, you'll notice it is very, very similar to the power paragraph. If anything, the power paragraph will never fail you. And I feel like my screen has just lost my image. Interesting. Okay. Well, if you can't see me, sorry. Okay, so A, it says begin this paragraph with the topic sentence. Do not start with evidence. You need to start broad and get more specific. Remember our hourglass shape? It applies here. Think back to the practice paragraph we did. That's kind of what I'm looking for. You know, that topic sentence, first observation type thing. Then you need to have your first piece of evidence, and then next you need to kind of make some commentary on that. Remember, this is our analysis section of the power paragraph. Then you need your second fact. Remember, you need to transition into this. Maybe not right now, but in the final draft you will. And it will be cited. Please get in the habit of citing your material now so that later on you're not crying because you can't find your info. Again, analysis. Now maybe you're going to have a third fact. It is not required, although some people find that they like a third fact. So if you use a third fact, you need to analyze it and you need to cite it. And as it says here, you know, you may find that you only need 2 pieces of evidence. Maybe you need 3. I don't know. It's your choice. And then it says transition out of this paragraph into the next paragraph. I'm not going to go through these other paragraphs because if you notice, this is exactly like paragraph 1. Okay? All the body paragraphs are the same. And, you know, you do your topic sentence, first observation, first fact, synthesis, second fact, you know, so on and so forth. Now let's talk about your conclusion. You need to restate your claim. Now think about the power paragraph, how we restated the topic sentence, but in a different way that gives more data. That's what I'm looking for. And then a summary, it says keep it short if you include one or combine your information into analysis of sorts, like drawing an overall conclusion. Just like in the intro, limit any citations or research facts in the conclusion. You cannot bring in new evidence. Any evidence that is new has to be in the body paragraphs. Finally, pull it together with one final thought. My recommendation for the final thought, look out towards the future or towards the world. What is something that the world should be working towards for this? What is something the world should aspire to be in this field? Like, for example, if you have homelessness, maybe it's, you know, depending on whatever you had, let's say definition. Together, Americans can work together to define and solve homelessness, okay? See how it's looking towards the future, it's kind of leaving the door open for somebody to step in and not necessarily make a change, but it's kind of giving a direction as to where to go after reading this. Below, I have 2 different examples because there's 2 different ways you can set up your outline, or you can kind of do a hybrid of the 2. The first one is a full sentence outline, but on the second page is like a word outline. I don't care which one you choose, if you do a mix, whatever works. Now this is a misprint. All parts need to be complete by the time the hour is up. This is not true. I need you to turn it in and have it ready by the next class. So this one is a full sentence outline, meaning there are important sentences that they've already written out, and this is how they're going to go about doing it. So for example, it says, introduction, gambling is not a new issue, and most of the time people who gamble do it for fun. So this is their topic sentence. This is how they're going to open their paper. B is the background. It says the problem with gambling occurs when someone has lost control of themselves and their power to make good decisions. So this is the point that they want to hit. This is like their transition from like the intro into some of the background or some of the more pointed discussion points. They may have a couple sentences in between here, but for right now, they're just hitting all the big points. C, gambling can be defined simply, but the definition itself does not indicate the importance of how it could impact a person's life. So this is this person's thesis. This is where their paper is going to go. And as you can see, this person has cited all of their research. Gambling. So both of these come from the same article, but then this third one comes from something, an author by the name of Minton. And if you notice, thinking about our power paragraph, remember how the power paragraph always looks back at the previous sentence and makes sure all the questions are answered. So we see here the ease. So they're talking about the ease of, like, you know, how easy it is to gamble. Well, then down here, they're reinforcing that idea by saying, okay, remember, you know, gambling, it's really easy to gamble. So they're carrying that idea through. Remember how the grain of sand travels through the hourglass? That's kind of what you're doing here. Make sure at the end of this paragraph that you're tying up all your loose ends. You don't want to go off on a tangent and forget about a point. And then they go into paragraph 2, which is not listed, but you can kind of draw your own conclusions. Here is a word outline. And this is for somebody who kind of knows how to organize everything. They already have it all laid out. And this is the kind of person that kind of says, okay, I don't need to write all this stuff down. I already know where this is going. I just need an idea for me as a reminder as to what I'm doing. So let's look at the same thing we just did. Gambling, not a problem for all. Okay, so that's the angle they want to take in their topic sentence. Could lead to poor decisions and consequences. They know that they want to address that for their background. And then they want a definition for their thesis. I will caution you on the word outline. Sometimes it's too vague, and you can forget what you actually typed. So just be aware that that's the pitfall of using the word outline. So let's look at the definition paragraph. Remember, this is the same paragraph as the sentence outline, just shortened. Placing of bets to gain something. Okay, so that's what they want to do. They want to talk about what even is gambling. What are the types of gambling? It's legal in casinos, riverboats, racetracks, and video displays. They want to talk about how it's easy to get to. And then in D, they want to talk about further, they're going more in depth, the ease of access. Easier access, CE. And then F, remember they had their Minton source. Online gambling is regulated. Rules and regulations have to be followed. And simple definition to interesting history. So this is how they're going to transition out of definition and into history. Notice this is a lot more vague, and this is definitely more for somebody, again, who just needs a reminder as to where they're going. I would say this one, the one that's more written out, is more for somebody who they don't want their ideas, they have a specific way they want to word it, and they don't want to lose that specific wording. So they're writing it down right now to save themselves the trouble of remembering later. Most of you will probably err on the side of a sentence outline. However, most of you will also probably do a hybrid model where, some of it you need to write it down, and some of you're like, you know what, this one, I only need a word or two to remind myself as to what's going on. So that is kind of what I'm looking for today. If you have questions, feel free to message me on Canvas. I will be here probably after second block if you want to pop in to talk to me about something, or if you would like a pass to come see me during SRT on Thursday. No, I'm talking to you about Thursday. On Friday, then that would be perfectly acceptable to me. Just make sure that you send me a Canvas inbox what session you want to attend so I can jot you down. On my side, my camera has gone blank, so hopefully you can see me. If not, I will see you on Monday, or if you come see me sooner, Thursday afternoon or Friday during SRT. All right, bye.